everyone. I hope you all had a phenomenal weekend and welcome to the Joy Gym, where every weekday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we practice different mental exercises to help build our mental muscles to cultivate a greater sense of joy. And that's right, you heard me correctly. I said the word mental muscles. This may be a new word for some of us. This may be a scary word for some of us, but what does it mean? Well, a mental muscle works just like a physical muscle, especially here at the Joy Gym. So you go to a regular gym and you do, let's say, bicep curls, really get the biceps nice and here. They get the biceps nice and big, right? And as you do that, you'll do repetitions. So you'll do that bicep curl multiple times. Each time it goes up and down is a rep. You'll do those repetitions multiple times or multiple days, maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right? And with consistency over time, your body will begin to change, right? It's the same concept here with physical muscles. And now we're just going to apply that to mental muscles. Our repetitions, our mental exercises will involve a guided breathing exercise and a guided meditation. And the guided meditation changes every day of the week. Today is Monday, Mindfulness Monday. So we'll be doing a guided meditation all around mindfulness. Today, we're going to talk about mindfulness and labeling, especially when it comes to our ability to label our emotions all around our series and helping us cultivate a greater sense of emotional intelligence. So, is there anything else to note before we begin? Yes, let me say it now. We are in for a really big treat this week because on Monday, today's Monday. On Wednesday, the 24th, I will actually be headlining the Kaleidoscope Conference. It is a conference all around cultivating a greater sense of empathy, or the theme is empathy inside out. The conference is all around intersectionality and DEI, all through the different aspects of our lives. So I'm super excited to be a part of it. I'm actually going to join for a few of the sessions, or all the sessions, once I end headlining it, and we're going to kick it off with a laughter yoga session. So I'm really, really excited for that, and I really hope you all can make it. We'll have more details about the Kaleidoscope Conference in a post I'll put after we finish with this guided meditation. So definitely hope you all can make it for that. Now, with all of the announcements out the way, let's start with the meat and potatoes of today, which is all around mindfulness. Now, or mindfulness and labeling emotions. So let's talk a bit about what mindfulness is. For those of you all who have joined this room before, I'm sure you've heard me say the definition. But real quick, we say that mindfulness is awareness that arises from paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. The main thing to know for this session is that mindfulness is all around open, non-judgmental awareness, right? We are choosing to place our attention on something, and we're not being carried away by the emotions, thoughts, or sensations on whatever we're placing our attention to. We're being a grounded, non-attached, non-judgmental observer. That's really a great way to sum up what mindfulness is. So when we talk about one of the tools that we often use when mindfulness, especially in mindfulness meditations, is something called labeling. What labeling or mental noting is typically using one, maybe two or three words in a neutral tone to label or note your experience in any given moment. This aspect of labeling or noting your experience can help maintain your concentration and help develop a bit of distance between whatever you are observing. Because again, with mindfulness, it's all about observing something in a non-attached, in an open, non-attached, and non-judgmental way. So by actually labeling what we're experiencing, it gives us a bit of that distance. We get so used to being caught up in the doer and someone who always tries to control or react or judge whatever is happening to us. With mindfulness, we get a bit of distance between what's happening to us and we observe it in that open, non-attached, and non-judgmental way. And that's how labeling comes to help. I remember one of my favorite teachers, Joseph Goldstein, he has this exercise or this saying where He recommends instead of saying, I am angry, because even in that statement, we're identifying with the anger. Like the whole phrase, I am angry, low key is saying that you're the embodiment of anger because you are angry. That's who you are, right? When in reality, that's an experience that you're having in that moment. So, what Joseph recommends is going from I am angry to there is anger. Even just changing those few words, we get that distance. Because, like I said, in the first sentence, I am angry, we are identifying with this emotional state, but emotions are simply information and they're always fleeting, they'll always change. So, how can we be something that's going to change, especially in a few seconds? So, going from I am angry to there is anger, the same experience, we're having the same sensation, same thoughts, same emotion. By simply saying there is anger, we get a bit of that distance so we can now observe. It's easier to observe that anger in a non attached and non judgmental way, right? And that's a bit about what labeling will do today. I've actually found in my experience by simply going from I am angry to saying there is anger, I find that my whole body starts to relax a bit because there's, again, a bit of that non judgmental, non attached distance from the emotion. So I don't have to, I just find that I'm not as carried away by it. And that can bring about, at least in my experience, not always for everyone, but it can bring about a sense of relief, clarity, and calm so we can make more informed and more grounded decisions. So, what we're going to do moving forward is we're going to jump into a guided meditation, a guided breathing exercise first. Then we're going to jump to a guided meditation. And in this guided meditation, we're going to practice labeling, like I was just talking about. So, first thing is first, my friends. Let me hit my trusty sound bowl 3 times. Let's jump off into this guided breathing exercise and let's call it. Hmm. Well, hello, 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 everyone. And thank you so much for joining in today's session. Today, we will begin with a guided breathing exercise. To begin this guide, I invite you to find a comfortable position. You can be seated, standing, or lying down. Whatever position works best, and one that you don't have to strain or struggle to maintain. In whatever position you choose, I'd like to invite you to try and keep your spine erect, but not rigid. You may close your eyes or lower your gaze if it is safe to do so, and if you feel safe doing so. For today's guided breathing exercise, we will breathe in through our nose for 4 seconds and breathe out through our nose for 6 seconds. We'll do this for around 5 breaths, and I will keep count, saying when to breathe in and when to breathe out. Please note, however, that this is simply a suggestion. If you'd rather do a different breathing exercise or breathe at your own pace, or if you find that doing these breathing exercises may activate difficult emotions, thoughts, or sensations, feel free to take a break, let go, change the practice, or just stop it altogether. This is a space where we can honor what our body needs in any moment. So, for those who would like to breathe and count with me, I'd like to invite you to breathe the air out of your lungs and breathe in nose, out nose, in nose, out nose, in nose, out nose, in nose, out, nose. And last time, in, nose, out, nose. When you are satisfied with the amount of deep breaths you have taken, I'd like to invite you to return your breathing to its natural state. However, you breathe when you're not trying to change or influence it in any way. When you are ready, I'd like to invite you to place your attention, your awareness on the sensations you feel as you breathe. Maybe it's a tingling sensation. Maybe it is tightness or pressure. Maybe there's warmth. Wherever you feel sensations as you breathe, we're simply placing our attention on those sensations that we feel in a non attached and non judgmental way. If you notice that your mind has wandered, that's okay. You haven't done anything wrong, and it doesn't mean you're a bad meditator. If you notice that your mind has wandered, simply bring your attention back to the sensations you feel in your body as you breathe. In a moment, I'd like to invite you to shift your attention to any emotions that may be coming up for you. These emotions may be experienced through sensations you feel in the body, through maybe even heat or coldness or temperature that you feel. They may, these emotions may also be associated with mental images or any mental noise. For this meditation, I'd like to invite you, as you experience emotions, to see if you can place your attention on any sensations you feel in the body associated with the emotion. To do that, I'd like to invite you to simply practice labeling any emotions that come up. These labels should be one word and can be spoken either quietly to yourself or silently in your head. preferably in a neutral tone. For example, it could go something like fear, 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 sadness, happy, excited, fear, anger, anger, or whatever emotions come up for you. Sometimes you may experience the same emotion multiple times or with multiple labels. For example, you may notice happy, 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 and continually feel that emotion, which means you would continually label it. That's okay. You may find also that your emotions may change from moment to moment, or maybe a mixture of the two. You may also find that you may not be feeling or experiencing any emotion in this moment. That's fine as well. You can note neutral or numb. As these emotions come up, they may try and pull at your attention. Maybe you experience anger and label it in this moment, and then angry thoughts or angry images come up. You may find it tempting or easy to get caught up in the story. That's okay. Whenever you notice your mind has wandered, simply bring your attention back to the act of labeling these sensations or these emotions. When you are ready, I'd like to invite you to let go of this practice. When you are ready, you may slowly flutter your eyes open and look around the room to better ground yourself in the space that you are in. Thank you all so much for joining in today's guided meditation. Great job today, and keep up the good work. Okay, today we practice mindfulness with labeling. Specifically, we practice labeling our emotions. We mentioned that the act of mindfulness, the act of being able to observe what is coming up for us in a non attached and non judgmental way, can give us a bit of distance when we're experiencing these difficult emotions. We talked about how Joseph Goldstein recommends going from I am angry, that kind of phrasing, to there is anger. And we use that as an example of how there could cause, or how simply changing our wording or labeling it in a different way can bring about some of that distance so we can more easily observe what's happening without getting caught up. You can think of mindfulness in turn with associated emotions um, in a way where you can. I kind of like explaining it like imagine if you were in a movie, so something was happening and like something scary was happening in the movie, and all of a sudden you are acting in ways that if you were watching the movie, you'd be like, no one would ever do that, but you're consumed by fear. When we're watching the movie, we have a different perspective. We have some distance from what's happening in the movie. We may experience the same fear in our bodies as the people who are in the movie. But because we have that distance, we know that it's simply a movie. We know that, and because of that, we have a bit more. We're a bit more grounded, and we can make more sane decisions, or look at others who aren't making the smartest decisions in the moment. Versus if we're in the movie and something scary happens, we get so caught up by those emotions. We don't have that moment to take a step back, to observe, to potentially connect to it in a different way. And that's really the basis of what mindfulness is all about, training our brain to connect to our experience in a different way. One that is not when the way we typically do it, or we're conditioned to, is one of judgment, one of aversion. I don't want that, or craving. I want that, to one of open, loving, and grounded acceptance of whatever arises. Again, it's a muscle, it's a mental muscle. But that's why we're here at the Joy Gym, so we can strengthen this muscle over time. And that's why we also practice labeling. This is one of those techniques that we are hoping to develop over time. That active labeling can help us get that distance and better identify with the emotions or anything that comes up in our life that we feel without being carried away. So before our next session, I'd hope you all can take this into your life and try and see if there are moments throughout your next session with us, or until your next session with us, where if something happens, we can take this moment, be like, wait, this is anger, or this is happiness, this is fear, this is jealousy. There is jealousy, whatever comes up for us in that moment. So that is everything we have for today. As a reminder, one moment, please. Want to make sure I get this correct. As a reminder, I will be headlining the Kaleidoscope Conference coming up on Wednesday, the 24th at noon. That is 12 p.m. EST. And the Kaleidoscope Conference is all around educating, empowering, and celebrating intersectionality within our communities. Like I mentioned more earlier, they'll be talking about the transformative power of storytelling, empathy, and joy. And on that note, the theme will be empathy from inside out. I love the fact that they're really talking about the transformative power of storytelling, empathy, and joy, because I feel like that so aligns with what the Joy Gym is all about. So we've partnered, and we're going to kick off the conference with a laughter yoga exercise. Laughter yoga is actually something you all have not seen me do in this room yet, so it'll be a surprise or a fun little exercise for all of us, and I really hope you all can make it. We have a bunch of really cool things coming up for us in the horizon. Check out LinkedIn within the next few weeks. We're going to have some really dope announcements. I'm really excited. Because of that, you should make sure you follow us on LinkedIn. That is Jamal Washington, CPC. You can find me on Jamal Washington, CPC on LinkedIn. You can find us on YouTube at Our Joy Gym, because we do this live stream every day on weekday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard, 8 p.m. Eastern, on LinkedIn Live, on YouTube, and on Clubhouse. So make sure you follow us on YouTube at Our Joy Gym. That is our channel. And lastly, make sure you follow us on Clubhouse under Mindful Meditators. That's where all this started over 2 years ago, or almost 2 years ago. We're on 19 months, if I remember. We've been doing these guided meditations. So thank you all so much for coming. I can't wait till we're at 19 more months. Thank you all so much for coming. I love you all, and may you find ease. Bye. Come to the conference.